Welcome, Short and Stout fans. Here we are for our second movie. And last time we introduced sips or shots. Now this is just a Friday routine we have. This is just what we do on Fridays. This is how we celebrate our week going into the weekend. Last time we sipped. Today we will be taking shots while we discuss our movie review of John Wick 3, Chapter 3. So, before we actually get into that, we're going to play with our Boise State shot glasses and this Myers Sparkling Spumante. We are not wine drinkers, but it was sparkling and non-alcoholic, gluten-free, caffeine-free. You really can't beat that.
Covered all of our bases on this one.
So, to the weekend?
To the weekend. Ooh, that's got a good little aftertaste.
Yeah, that white grape taste is really good. All right, Nick, John Wick 3.
Fantastic movie, I must say. Just absolutely amazing cinematography, acting. It was amazing because if you haven't seen the first two, directly when the second one finishes, the third one immediately picks up. So there's no necessary backstory. It covers everything. So if you do go see it, I would highly recommend that you go see at least the second one because it literally picks up right from the ending. So I really loved that aspect about it. Also just the training that went into the movie for the combat and the firearms training was just incredible. Keanu Reeves and also Halle Berry, just phenomenal performances on both parts. Just the hours of training that they had to do is just unbelievable.
I agree. And for anybody who hasn't seen the second one, the premise of where this one starts out, John Wick is currently on the run with a $14 million bounty, for lack of a better word, contract is what they call it in the movie, on his head. So everybody in the underworld of this assassin group, is after him. And so he's on the run for his life while he's working his way through this. And I thought, right from the start, action-packed, edge of your seat the entire time. And the filming that they did on this was done so well. The stunts, the choreography, and the way they chose to use the camera. You didn't feel cheap. The editing was crisp, cut from scene to scene with the hand-to-hand. And I really I loved the first one, a lot of gunplay, and that was super fun. The second one involved a lot more hand-to-hand combat. This one, a lot of knives get brought in.
Yeah.
There's so much knife play with this film that's different than the others, but a lot more hand-to-hand combat that's a bit more prolonged. And so you really get into this martial arts feel. Really, really cool movie.
Well, and the interesting thing about the gunfights in this movie is towards the end of the film, John Wick has to kind of play a little differently with how guns work with certain men that he's fighting towards the end, and that was an incredible take on it. Just absolutely, you just felt on the edge of your seat the whole time because you just don't know how he's going to beat these guys, but he finds his way, as always. So.
Very resourceful. Very resourceful. So, a lot of great things. Not a lot to nitpick here. Even as somebody who loves movies, there wasn't a lot to nitpick. There were a few areas in the movie where things seem to be moving well, and then he changes his mind, and so you wonder about why we had to watch about 15 minutes of the movie. But overall, it was really well.
Yeah.
The cinematography, their locations that they shot on,
beautiful
on set locations were amazing. And it looked like they had a lot of fun with this. And that's the other thing, is not a lot of green screen used. A lot of this is on location. And so it's really neat to think about all the ways they used these different resources that they had. And it's a winning team. Chad Stahelski, who's directed all three of them, is just phenomenal. He was actually a stunt double for Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. And that's where they met and got to work together. And then coming together in this has obviously been so much fun for them.
So fun.
And it's just totally different than anything that's been done before. So it's hard to nitpick. The ending did surprise me. We're not going to spoil anything for you, but super surprising. But at the same time, when you look at how all the other three have ended, it's pretty normal. I mean, they always end in a certain way and leaving John Wick in a certain situation, and so but it was surprising nonetheless.
Right.
So I
actually did not like the ending as much as I would have liked, but hopefully, you know, they have snuck a leak that the fourth one is being made, so it is possible, and it kind of makes sense with the ending of the third. Again, without, you know, giving too much detail, but I actually didn't like the feel of the ending because I already had this mindset of a trilogy. But I'm sure that if they do make a fourth one, as rumors say, it will be just as phenomenal, just as creative as the other three have been. So
I agree, and the fan base is growing for this film. The first one, people didn't know what to expect. They liked Keanu Reeves, and it looked good. People loved it. The second one doubled the amount that the first one ever made in the opening weekend, and the third one did it to the second one. In fact, it was enough, 3 weeks later after Avengers Endgame came out, that it was enough to knock that finally off its high horse for number one. And so, which for John Wick is huge. I mean, a world record, not by any means, but for a John Wick movie to do as well as it did, says
Incredible.
A lot, and that sent a message to the directors. And if they keep doing what they've done, I'm going to be excited to watch them.
Yeah.
And so the fan base is growing, but they obviously take their time, everybody involved, in making sure it's not a cheap sequel, for lack of a better word, instead of just throwing money at it to do it. It's a lot of excitement because they keep layering it on inside of this world. You keep learning new things about it, and it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, they really do a great job at capturing you in the world that this is set in, and it just feels so real to you, and so you get drawn into the story, you get drawn into the characters really, really well, and just absolutely incredible film, and just a wonderful adventure for us to be able to go see it together, which is always a blast. And there was a big turnout in the theater, which is always great to see.
Not common for us.
Yeah, not common for us. But that was fun to see that people are getting more and more into this series, because it really is just an incredible series.
And I think more and more people are getting into Nick and I going to the movies, and they want to come along with us, and so they're figuring out which movies we're going to.
It is us.
So far, John Wick had as many people in that matinee as every movie we've ever seen combined.
True.
And this was our fourth movie. So, 2 plus 4 plus 12, and that's exactly how many people were in John Wick 3.
It's true.
So, I'm going to give John Wick an A.
And I would also give John Wick 3 an A.
If you love action movies, definitely go see this. Disclaimer, it's not a family movie, not a kid-friendly movie. The action is gritty, it's real, it's violent. Just beware of that. But an amazing movie nonetheless. So thank you for joining us for our movie review and taking some shots of Spumante. It's pretty good if you want to try it. And as always, like and subscribe. We'd love to learn more about what you'd love to see on this channel. And until next time, I'm Short.
I'm Stout.
We're out.